All right, guys, we're here. We're live. Welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another Poker Life podcast. My name's Joe Ingram1, a.k.a. Chicago Joey. We're back. We streamed yesterday for those that missed it. I did it on Twitch. It didn't record. If you saw it live, you saw me talk more strat than I've ever talked in my life. If you didn't see it, you're never going to see it again. I'm never talking strategy again. But we're here. We're on YouTube. Comments, questions are welcome. I'm here with a guy. So I'll talk about how this came to be, and I'll explain to you guys who he is, because I know a lot of people out there probably don't know much about him. Most of my people listening are PLO guys. So a couple months back, I'm on Twitter all the time, and I'm always seeing these hashtag Poker Joker gear, these shirts, and I'm always seeing these people talk about this thing called Poker Joker gear. I'm like, what the fuck is Poker Joker gear? What is this thing, right? So I'm looking it up. I'm going on their Twitter. I'm going on their website, and it's like it seems pretty cool. They got a great community of people. It seems pretty positive. Yeah. I messaged this guy right here, our guest today, Marc Powers. Correct, right?
Yes, sir. You got it, man.
Make sure I call you a Poker Joker in my head.
The Poker Joker, yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. It's fun to jump on and talk about it. So thanks for having me on.
I'm excited. Like I said, I messaged you on Twitter. I'm like, dude, what is this Poker Joker? I'm interested in this. It sounds like something I'd enjoy, because around here, you know, we're trying to build a little community. We try to keep things positive. We try to keep things upbeat. We support each other. And it seems like with what you guys have going on, it's a very similar type of thing. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, it would, man. I mean, actually, you know, it's kind of a team element. I think that when I first started it, I was in a casino. It was about a year and a half ago, to be honest, and it was poker is a very as you talk to everyone, it's a heartless game. It'll take everything from you, you know, as you play, and there's not a lot of support, at least none that I saw really. And, you know, I just equated it to a team, and when I used to play team sports, a lot of what I did with the team, they would pump you up. They would help you out. You know, you wouldn't always execute a play or do things right. And I think the team was always there to pick you up and kind of encourage you. And, you know, I've had very fortunate growing up with a lot of good friends in San Diego, and the cool part is that I just wanted to kind of introduce what it is that I knew my whole life into poker. And I've always been a very positive, upbeat dude, and so you know, taking a page out of that playbook and kind of putting a team together of individuals, and that's kind of the key. Is you know, I didn't reach out to every great player out there. You know, I know you had some great people on your podcast with Dan Smith, and you know, some of those guys they're on Team Ivy already, and I would probably challenge them that they don't really act like a team. But you know, I go after the people that you know, want to make a name for themselves. They want to give back to the game. They're really positive players. They're fun to play with. You know, kind of how we all started the game in some garage somewhere. That's these guys. So that's you know, and not to say they're not good. They're all better than I am. So you know, I bring on better talent than what I am. But they're a cool group, man. There's a lot of people that. I didn't want to segregate people on our team, so I didn't want to make it just exclusive to our team. I wanted to, you know, bring everyone in. So that's where the gear comes into play, and it's just kind of a fun, positive play on poker, man. So
what exactly is the team? For people out there that don't know what it is, you can go to the website, which, by the way, I think you just got a redesign. And as I'm designing my website, onepokerlife.com, right now, which will be open soon, your design looks awesome. Who did the design? What was it? Who did it?
Thanks, man. I actually had a couple of designers work on. I submitted it to, and I'll give this free fact out to everyone. I submitted to 99 Designs. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's basically a place where a lot of designers go, and it's either apparel designers or website or brochures or print or all these different media outlets. So I went there for the design initially, and got a lot of different designers kind of submitting things, and it's best to give feedback on what you like, so I really went out there and picked a couple of different sites I can, you know, had them try to kind of put something together, and yeah, I'm really proud of it. We got some really cool things that it's not just a gear site. There's some other things involved with it, so I'm proud. Yeah, we just launched it the other day, so I'm pretty fired up that it's finally done, man. Good luck with that, dude. That's a big undertaking, man, with your website, so you'll enjoy it.
I'm gonna show the website right now just because I think the design's cool. Obviously, I'm like obsessed with learning how to code and do web design right now, even though I'm not coding much. But I really enjoy the layout. It's very easy to use, very easy to navigate. We got the team right here, all different guys, different states, which is cool, right? Because I think there's a lot of people that play live poker that want to be recognized for something, want to be. How much these? How much are these stuff? Wait a sec. What are these price? $59. How'd y'all come to this price? $59?
Yeah, that's actually some of that stuff. That's from that piece right there. The WSOP carried it this year.
They must have charged $1 million for it then, huh?
Yeah, so they they actually brought a couple SKUs in, and they sold. I didn't have my own booth there. They actually sold it for me, so it was kind of cool to be awesome. A fresh brand, and some of those pieces actually they brought in. So yeah.
I like it. I like the gear. The gear is cool. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people posting photos, retweeting and tweeting back, and I like the gear. Normally, most poker gear, I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of. We only currently have one thing that we wear around here: Eat Sleep Pilo. We're big Pilo players around here.
Gotcha. I've seen that shirt out there, man. That's a popular shirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like my ex-girlfriend made one for me. It said Eat Sleep Pilo on it, and I wasn't expecting to ever I wasn't thinking like merchandise when I do this. I started doing these podcasts because I enjoyed PLO. I enjoyed talking to people. I wanted to get PLO out there more for the masses. And people were like, I want this shirt. They asked like for 4 months. I'm like, fine. If you guys would have made shirts right away. But me, I didn't think about it for like 4 months.
Yeah, that's okay, man. And the key is too, like I'm not I don't print a lot of this stuff. So my philosophy is, hey, just put out a couple of SKUs and have fun with it, because I think that's the cool part about it is having fun with different colors, different designs, putting it out there. And then people feel like, I got a lot of people saying, hey, are you going to bring this hat back? Are you going to do that shirt? Are you going to do this? And my answer is always no, because I bring in just a limited edition of everything, and then so they fly off the shelves, and then people feel like they have a product that no one else can get. So, it's just for fun, doing some cool stuff.
Do you ship these out yourself then from your house locally, or do you have a company that does it?
You got it, man. Company of one right here. So I mean, the good part is that I got the whole team is awesome because they kind of help promote and push. But as far as shipping, man, it resides right on my shoulders. So that's what I do.
All right. So Poker Joker gear in general, it's clothing, it's a team, it's a community. So how can you qualify? How do people get on the team? Because I see right now there's a bunch of different team members on there. So let's say someone out there is watching this right now. They've heard about it. They don't know much about it, but they're interested in potentially trying to be a part of it, or trying to be on the team, or trying to be a part of the community. What's something that they can do?
Yeah, good question, man. So that's a question that gets asked to me, more than often. And they're like, hey, how do I? And ever since when I started it, I was really worried about bringing people on. So it's like, hey, you have a gear and you want people to come on your team, and you're kind of paranoid, like, hey, are people even going to want to be on your team, right? So I had the reverse problem at first, and then there was kind of a moment when people saw how positive our team is, and it's some of the cool things we're doing. Then you have this huge tidal wave of a lot of people wanting to be a part of it. And I've never been one to kind of push people out and exclude people, and there's a lot of people out there that have dreams in poker of making it big, and they want to expand their career and get some of the spotlight sometimes. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So to get some of these people coming in, I had a contest not too long ago, and I said, hey, I'll here's a bunch of different questions. Submit to me your responses. It doesn't have to be about poker resume. Just submit to me why you would want to be on the team, and what value can you bring. And I had over 100 and some submissions, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's a bit more than I expected. And so I literally read every one. I went through honestly every single question and how they answered, and some people gave quick responses, but there was some really thorough, like, here's what I can bring. And I only selected a couple people, but what told me about that is, hey, there's a lot of people that want to be a part of this, and so what can I do? What sort of scalable mechanism can I put together to have people be a part of it? So when you went to the website and you clicked on the leaderboard, you'll see the first two on the left are all team-based. The one on the right we call as jokesters. And jokesters I kind of attribute to members. So they're people that want to be on the team. They're people that can sign up. So they get kind of some exclusive hats and deals. They get to purchase product before anyone else. And they also get to register their points. So that kind of goes into another whole thing about I created kind of a metric system on how you achieve pro status. So to me, there's a lot of people out there that do brands and they can make themselves pro because they can go to a patch company and make a pro patch and slap it on people. You see a lot of it at WSOP. You see people wearing patches. Well, there's a lot of people that have validity to be wearing something like that, and a lot of people that don't. And this patch that I have on here is about gear, but there's a pro patch that we have, and the pro patch, you have to meet a certain point requirement to get there, and it's not easy. It's a difficult thing to do. I might not ever get there, and I'm okay with that. But there's people that are good at poker and that do want to get there, and so I put together a metric that they can take a part in too. And so they can be a part of the whole point system and try to aspire there. And if they're positive on Twitter and they build up some points and I see they're engaged in playing poker, then I'll reach out to those individuals and potentially bring them on the team. So it's kind of a cool way for people to be a part of it. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback, so it's pretty neat.
Is this strictly a tournament player thing? Is it something that cash game players can be a part of? Because I know there's a lot of guys that are out there grinding the cash game streets pretty hard.
Yeah, I would love to. I see. What I haven't done is I haven't come up with a mechanism for cash game players, and I don't know if anyone has. And it might be me just naive about the poker industry, but we have a couple cash game players on our team, and quite honestly, professional poker players in general are cash game. They make a living off poker, right? So the point system that we generated and that we set up really doesn't have anything to do with cash at all, because I don't know how to equate a point system to dollars that you win. You'd have to really, in order to verify that, you'd have to go to the cage, submit your money, then you'd have to submit profitability, and then you'd have to have someone measure that and send that in. And I don't know how that's been done, but if you could figure out a way for me, Joe, I'll implement that and start bringing in cash game players.
Well, I mean, if we know anything about live cash game players, they never lose. They always win. So
always profit.
Some epic sessions submitted there. I mean,
That's right. Go ahead.
We talk about showing receipts around here. So when people come, sometimes we do live streams. Someone comes in the chat. I made 10 buy-ins. Well, you claim you made 10 buy-ins. You got to show a receipt. You say you got a hot girlfriend. You better show us a photo. You got to show receipts before you make claims. And something like that, going to be easy to doctor those receipts, unfortunately. So
you ever seen a guy on Twitter tweet a picture of his chip stack at about 9 p.m. and then he's got literally they're this big, you can't even see over them, and then you never really hear any more from him that night, and you don't, all of a sudden he doesn't tweet anymore. There's no more pictures, and there's certainly not him at the cage with all his money. But you damn sure do if they do well, right? You see the racks stacked up, you see the cash, so it's like, hey, if you're going to implement something and make sure that it's it's legit and you got to be able to measure it accurate. So anyway,
it's like it's live poker player observation GTO. We're talking. We're big into GTO around here. We talk about GTO about PLO, about women, about partying, about sleeping. We literally have a GTO discussion about every topic that possibly exists, and now we have a live poker player observation GTO discussion happening.
Bam, that's it, man. So I mean, really all we've done is put a measurement to it, and if I could figure out a way to do, I mean, there's a lot of people on our team that are honestly begging, like, hey, how do we set up something for cash? And I just, I don't know, man. I don't have the answer. I like the pictures of receipts and the girlfriends and stuff like that, so maybe we'll have to go that route.
No, I don't think you should do that. We fuck around for that. So I mean, for something like that, obviously for online, there's Hold'em Manager, there's graphs, there's Russian PTR, which sucks for PokerStars, and for the American sites, there isn't really a tracking site that quite, can verify for the most part. So something like that really hasn't been, when you think about an aspect of a team kind of like you guys have, nothing really exists like that. I mean, there's the training sites. That's not really like, that doesn't. They're not a team. They don't, it's not
no, and that's the thing too. Like when I looked at the team aspect, there just wasn't anyone supporting Pep. Like you'll look at everyone knows everyone on Team Ivy because they're phenomenal poker players, right? They've.
I don't know. I actually don't know anyone on Team Ivy except I knew Dan was on Team Ivy because when he told me he was on Team Ivy, I didn't think he did training videos. He's like, I'm on Team Ivy. I was like, what?
Oh really? Yeah. So you got Dan and of course Phil. But the thing is, like they don't. I feel like they don't act like a team. So again, that's the thing that we've really. With the sector of players that we have, they act like a team. It's cool, man. They want to be a part of it. They want to help it grow, and we help it grow together. So it's fun, man.
I agree. I like it. I really like the team thing. I guess an idea for cash game players is something like you kind of have your people around you or people in the team or that you trust or that you respect their opinion. And
Sure.
Potentially, if 1, 2, or 3 people recommend somebody as a potential addition that maybe focuses more on like a 2-5 or a 5-10 cash game player, then you could potentially debate bringing that player in. That's an idea. Obviously, it's really hard to. I think there's probably gonna be a lot of people that want to get on. There might be some hurt feelings if some people aren't get on. There might be some hurt feelings if a certain cash game player is chosen instead of them.
Yeah. I've started to deal with a little bit of that, and it's again that's why I hate turning people down because I don't feel like I'm a big enough deal to turn people down, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? Like like I told you in the beginning, I'm just a regular dude that is trying to put together some fun stuff around poker, and I got a bunch of people in Minnesota here that are a tight knit group, but to make this grow. I've got to find other people in other states that have a good positive energy about them and that are cool. They can you don't have to like taking a bad beat, but I don't want people to take a bad beat and rip the cards up and call the guy an asshole and next thing you know it's a bad scene. So I've seen some really good people in the game that lose with respect, shake their hand and move on and there's a lot of respect earned there. So. To branch out to these other states and to find those people, is difficult because when you have people coming in, they're like, hey, I want to be on your team. If I pick the wrong guy or girl and they're an asshole or they're a jerk or they turn out to be bad, that's again ties into our brand. And then you can't say your hashtag grin and win or your positivity or that doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? So you lose the integrity of who you are as a company if that happens. So, I don't think I built the perfect model and trying to have people try to be a part of the team, but it's the only scalable way that I can put together. And I've had I have a board of some jokers that are on the team that I can kind of submit names to and say, hey, what do you guys think? So it's not just one dictator saying, hey, I think they should be on or off. Mm-hmm. That's not going to work. So yeah, man, it's been fun to grow, and we haven't been in a long run, so cool.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why. You mentioned earlier, before we started, you said, you're surprised that I want to have you on because I have some of the bigger names on in poker. But I also like having people that can provide some inspiration, some entertainment to others. I think that what you guys do, and some people might be like, might not agree with that, but I think there's some people, if a certain person watches this, I think this is an idea that can be done in other places. I think it's just like a fun idea. Everyone wants to be part of a team. At poker, your goal is to exploit players' weaknesses and take money from them. Sure. When I was coming up grinding for millions of hands online, and it's a solo mission. You have your couple close friends, but it's a solo mission. And with what I've been trying to create as far as the community goes, that's something that I've wanted to have is like. Have it be more fun, have it be more of like a group of a team like. So I think what somebody out there watching that might be in say Texas. You guys can't reach everywhere quite yet, But I think there's some smaller scale potential for people to try to create with their friends. Just like give it a shot. Like it's such a fun idea. I love it. I mean, it's really cool. I can't.
Absolutely. The thing too that was interesting that I realized in one of our team members, his name's Bo. He mentioned this the other day. He asked Jonathan Little because Jonathan Little was doing a blog, and he goes, "Hey, can I'm going to write a blog tomorrow? Can someone throw in ideas?" And Bo threw out on our team, how about table persona, and how you act around the table and what people think of you and what you think of them. And I know that that's a lot about poker. And to me, I think some of this started clicking when I was playing the World Series of Poker over the summer, and I played in a nightly. I sat down and I actually played with 2 or 3 other team members, and I had a lot of our team members on the rail behind, and we just started, and you're starting to play, and there was 480 people. I ended up making the final table, and this isn't all about me. I punted my stack off, which was phenomenal. But along the whole way, I was just there to have fun. It was a fun tournament. I was drinking Long Island iced teas because another guy on our team, Mike, drinks them, and so I was pounding those down. And I felt like I was having fun with everyone at the table, and I don't know whether that was getting me into situations where players didn't want to bust me, or sometimes it gave me calls because they thought I was just loose. I don't know what it was about that whole night. Obviously after the buzz wore off at the end, I punted my stack off. But my point is I had fun that entire night. And I think that a lot of people want to keep a guy around like that that's having a good time. That's make great and say, hey, they're wizards and grinders, and they want to put their headphones on and put their glasses on and not talk to anybody, and that's okay, right? Because I know for some, poker's about making money. Mm-hmm. For me, if I got to spend time away from my family and my friends, and I got to spend 8 to 10 to 13 hours, and I've got another job, and I do all this, which I know a lot of poker players do, I don't want to sit down at a table, have everyone with their headphones on, and not engage and have fun, not have it be a positive experience. That's not going to keep people around. It's not going to grow our game. So, again, it's one perspective. There's probably a million people out there that would disagree with that philosophy, but hey, it's mine, and I know a lot of our poker players share the same thing.
I think that that sentiment's been echoed often by people I have on here that do play some live. Is that same thing about people need to be more entertaining, not as headphoney. I obviously understand their perspective as well. Some people aren't comfortable doing that. Some people look at poker as their only goal, their only mission is to make as much money as they can and disregard any potential long-term growth that they can possibly bring with their attitude. And some people just aren't aware, like they've never been, because you think like, I'm always on 2+2 the poker forums. I'm active in the community, but when I go to some place like the Horseshoe Casino that's near me in Hammond, you meet so many people that aren't even they're like not a part. They don't even know like 2+2 exists. They don't know there's like online poker that's still like happening, and they just don't know. Like they're not hearing that like, oh, maybe you shouldn't act like an asshole at the table, or maybe you should express yourself. Like they're just not hearing that, and so I don't know. I don't play much live, so I don't necessarily see. I'm not in the trenches seeing these people act this way, but I obviously. Is one of your goals, similar to my goal, is to make poker a little bit more entertaining, exciting for people.
Yeah, man.
Other people's goals is just to make as much money as they can, and they don't worry about that. And at a point in time in my life, I was the exact same way, so I can relate to that feeling as well.
Yeah, I think there's, I'm I don't know how old you are. I'm 36. I've got 2 kids. I've got a wife. I got a full-time job. And now basically I got this other cool hobby that I put together. But the thing I realized that, like I told you before, I want to spend, if I got to spend that much time with other people, I want it to be fun. I'm not in it to make $1 million. I'm not in it to be the best in the world. I certainly know there's players on our team that want that, and I know there's certain players on our team that it's their job, it's their livelihood. Totally respect that. But I also know these players have fun playing the game. I don't think they, if they grind online and they have all these screens up and it's just kind of what they do, that's cool, man. There's something for everybody. It's not for me. I'm not going to do that, right? I want to sit down. I want to be competitive. I've really worked on, personally my game, and I want to try to get better. I don't want to, dunk off my chips or punt my stack when I go deep, or I want to do well. But I also there's that other element where I want to have a good time, and like I said, I know there's others that share that sentiment and some that don't, and that's okay. But I do know that when I talk to some of the our local, and here in Minnesota, some of our local card rooms, the major issue I hear is that we don't get any new blood in, and that could be for a bunch of different reasons. But what we try to do, at least around our teaming neighborhood, is bring new people into casinos. Mm-hmm. Sit down at some of the limit games where they don't feel like they can get felted in one hand. Have a good time. And they're in a group where there's a lot of people, but they're also understanding the rules of poker, and they're understanding what not to do. And maybe if they make a bad play, you can kind of talk about it. And it's a helpful environment. It's not completely cutthroat. So I do know that if new people that come into our game and go to a casino and they don't experience that, and they sit down with a person that just closes them off and they don't engage with them, that's a very intimidating thing for some people. Some people that have a good persona, and you're there and you're there for entertainment like yourself or me, or trying to engage people and do that kind of stuff, it's fine. We can break through that barrier or move to someone else that wants to engage with us. We'll find that engagement somewhere. Mm-hmm. But I think that it just makes the game better for people if you have a fun time while doing it. So like I said, just one man's philosophy.
You kind of sound like a fun player, though. You know what a fun player is?
Oh man, a fun player. I mean, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of.
Wait, hold on. Yeah. Before we get there, do you know what a fun player is?
Your definition or mine?
My definition of a fun player.
I do not know your definition.
Okay, what's your definition of a fun player?
A lot of variables. I would say someone that makes moments light, makes tense moments light. I think they're able to make people laugh. I'm a big laughter guy. Those are kind of my two elements around the poker table. Get people laughing, make them engage, because there's a lot of people that do close themselves off. So open them up a little bit. And it's amazing when you see some people open up what they'll actually tell you as far as stories or what you can learn from them, and you get people talking. It's kind of fun. Some
might say I get people to open up here on the podcast.
And absolutely.
You're amazed definitely the stories they tell you and what they say to you. Some might
without a doubt, you for sure do.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to tell you, you probably should get a different definition for that person right there, because I'm on a revolution to turn the phrase fish into fun player.
Cool, man. Let's do it. I like that.
Calling people a fish, you call them fun player. You don't want to be called a fish or like a donk or a fucking idiot. That's what people. I'm like chatting with like, well, it's interesting. Okay, so I have different levels of friends. Now, I semi called you a fun player, but I didn't mean your. Some of the things you were saying earlier were fun player-esque. Like,
oh man, hey, you ask most of the people. Why don't you send out a tweet in about 5 seconds and ask if I'm a fish? I would say that you might get a positive response for that, and I'm cool with that. That's okay.
Some of the things you were saying were very fun player. I know people out there are listening, and they're like, "That kind of sounds like something a fun player would say." But at the same time, well, I don't know. I don't know. So what would you say? I guess, are you good at poker? Would you say you're good at poker?
I would say that I am. I would say that I've a year ago, 2 years ago, no. I would say that I've spent I spent a lot of time with a coach recently, who I won't name, but until I hit a big score for them. But I've done a lot of coaching, a lot of studying, so I want to get better at the game. I do want to get better. I don't want to sit down. Like I told you, if I'm going to sit down at 8 hours at a poker table, I want to do well if I'm going to spend some time there. So I'm not, I see myself studying the game and getting better and wanting to do well, but I also want to create fun. So I like your transition between fish to fun. That's awesome.
I actually don't, but as I say, I don't. You said the family thing, which was you had a full-time job and you have 2 kids, and
yeah.
But you said something that made me think that. But you don't seem like a technical fun. You don't seem like you're that fishy. But I don't know. Like, I wish I knew. I wish I had an idea, because obviously your read on someone when you just talk with them or talk poker, you never
Yeah.
quite know if it's actually going to be what is reality. So
Yeah,
for
for
me,
sure.
I mean, you don't seem like, which is cool because you made it seem like you barely play or you don't play as much. You're kind of focused on
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I really don't. We had a recent tournament and at our local casino, Running Aces, Hollow Scream tournament. It was a 6-day one event or 5-day one event, and I ended up getting 20th, so I went pretty deep. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I am focused on my game. I do want to do well, but I also want to have a good time too. So
I like it. I mean, you seem like you seem like kind of type of person that maybe not enjoys working hard, but enjoys getting better, enjoys learning, progressing. I mean, to be 36 and to be in shape, you got to be kind of dedicated to be.
yeah, yeah, I am dedicated to it, and again, I would say I take that from sports, just wanting to get better. And I don't, when I sit down with players that I respect, we have a ton of great players here in Minnesota. Honestly, really do, and I can't compare it to anything because I didn't grow up like Dan at 15 playing poker or something like that. I just started a couple years ago, and probably before that played garage games. So you can tell how good the poker play is there. A lot of fun players, but from my perspective, I want to have their respect. I want to get involved in a game and have them respect my play, and I want them to see me progress and get better. But I also, like I said, I also want to have a good time doing it. So, yeah.
So would you say having the respect of your peers in poker, actually playing poker, is something that's important to you? It sounds like you'd say that.
Yeah, I think it's important to me, and you know what? Quite honestly, man, I think it's important to a lot of players. Certainly the players on our team. I think that's the ultimate goal. They want bracelets, they want trophies. Some are motivated by money. Everyone has different motivations, but I think a lot of people just want to be known and respected in the poker world because they think they might get some laydowns in some key situations, like, oh, that guy or that woman is really good. That earns you some cred, right, on the felt. But I don't want to ever get into a poker situation where I feel like someone can take advantage of me as a player because they feel like I don't study the game or I don't focus on the game. So I don't ever want to come. I don't want fun to be an excuse for, hey, I'll gladly give you my $1,100 that I just bought in for this tournament. That's definitely, I'm not a man made of money, and I value money, so I'm not sitting there punting it off. So, I do want to take it somewhat serious, but like I said, also combo with fun.
Well, the reason I mention this is because this idea has been discussed in length in the poker forums in terms of the online high stakes world, because you have people that are in it to be respected by their peers for the level of play they're at, whether that sometimes comes at a financial cost. And then you have the other players, the seat scripters, the fucking the scummier players online, the bum hunters who they have no respect at all, and they seem to be perfectly content with that, and that's just something I can't ever imagine. I can't ever imagine that, and I'm kind of friends with some people that are online do this too at the high stakes PLO games, and it makes me question my friendship with them because I don't know, I can't. But I understand, not everyone's out for respect, as we said earlier. So, but I think it's cool that it's important to you.
Yeah, I don't ever want to judge those people because, like I said, I don't live in a day in their shoes, and I know it's their livelihood, and when you have a livelihood that I could imagine someone coming into my corporate environment and saying, hey, here's how you need to act, or here's what your motivator is, and I'd be like, okay, I'm not feeling that, so I wouldn't expect anyone else in our category in poker to do the same thing. So we're all there for different reasons. But ultimately, I would have to even say, like, hey, if you are there and you are focused on just money, can't you have a good time, or can't you enjoy your time, or can't you share stories with people and get to know people along the way? Like, I would probably try to argue that with someone, that they can still be very intellectual in their game. They can still have a very high skill set, but I don't think they need to close themselves off. But again, who am I to tell people how to act? I just try to have fun with the players that will engage and go from there. So
I think that technique is what I've used all the time. I've always tried to perform at a high level, work extremely hard, put in a lot of hours, but at the same time, I always tried to expand my network, make friends, build relationships, build friendships, because I thought that would be important to my growth as a poker player. And I kind of tell people that's something I think is being underutilized these days, is that people aren't really getting a network of poker friends. And I really credit that. I mean, some of the the biggest, when I took the leap from, like a mid-stakes to high-stakes level, is because of the people I was around and those influences, and, motivating and talking poker with them and just being around successful people made me even want it more. And I try to tell people that, really, even if you're playing live, if you're like a live 1-2 guy, I mean, sure, you might not make the best live 1-2 friends, but it's good to have poker friends. It's kind of fun. You can talk hands, get better, tell bad beat stories if you're into telling bad beat stories. So
yeah, I think and that's, and I haven't really touched on, the people on our team, but, man personalities, we're just getting all their profiles loaded up on the site. Like, we have over 30 people on there. But you're in Chicago, right? You said, do you know Jules at all? Jules is she is a player that will show emoji you to death on Twitter.
Oh, the professional emoji woman, Julie. Yeah, she seems cool.
Yeah, Julie, she's awesome. So I mean, you have Julie, you have Natasha and Mike out in Florida, and Sam and Rudy and Jessica. I mean, I could go on. I could literally name our whole team. But my point with that is, these are all awesome people, and they're fun, and they're engaging, and the reason why they're a part of the team is because people like those guys around. They want to sit down. They hope they sit down at a table with you because they make it more enjoyable. And I'd like to say that I've corralled some good ones, and there's a ton that we don't have, out there. So, we're not the mecca for all the fun players ever out there, but yeah, man, it's cool, man. I'm really appreciative with the people that are on our team and being a part of it, and I think they're way more a part of the success than I am. That's bar none's hands down for sure. And they came on board when this wasn't an established brand, and people were asking, what the hell is this, and trying to figure it out. And so they rocked the logo and just were themselves. And I think that was a representation of our brand. That became our brand. And that's, that essentially they're, I should thank all of them way more than I should take credit for anything I did. That's for sure.
I'm looking at some comments right now. I haven't given any shout-out. This is honestly the longest I've ever made it in my life without giving shout-outs or acknowledging some regulars in the stream and some questions. So we have, let me scroll back up here. We have a lot of regulars. A couple regulars. My boy Rems, Ryan Bonner. What's up, guys? Shaq, you would not be a part of the team. You got to be extremely positive. Shaq might not be part of the team. Kevin Phillips, he says, when is this Stars Reg Problems podcast going up? The Stars Reg Problems podcast is going up when my site opens. I'm releasing it finally.
Nice,
Josh, well, it's a reason why it's nice. It's because it was a train wreck of a podcast by him, and he scammed the community. He scammed a certain Chilean person of $20,000, and it was a very popular thread on 2+2 poker forums. So,
okay, gotcha.
It's an interesting story. Josh says he's trying to watch this from The Office. He's trying to watch these from The Office grind. It's the nut low. Oh, yeah, it's true. Seriously serious. What's up, buddy? He says, I don't know, he didn't say anything. Ben Hellstrip, what's up, Poppy? Jacob, if anybody has any questions. Oh, Josh has a question. Do they have gear for the lovely ladies that are above 160 pounds? So around here, we may or may not like the big girl grind. We call it BGG, big girl grinding. 160 or below, gotta go. Yeah. 160 or above. We show you love. You're a big girl. You need some love. You can hang out with us on the live streams. We got love.
Yeah, man.
They got gear for the big girls, right?
Absolutely, man. So in the Midwest, man, like I said, I'm from San Diego, and out in San Diego, everyone's walking around in sundresses and everything's great out there. In Midwest, it's you bundle up and you throw on layers, So, our gear, we've got a lot of 2Xs, 3Xs, 4Xs, 5Xs. That's good. Maybe not in stock now because they do sell out, but yeah, man, we've got a lot of big girls, big boys. That's all good, man. We'll definitely cater to those fans for sure.
You mentioned you're married. Big girl grinding in your life. Are you a big girl grinder, small girl grinder?
No, she's athletically built. She's 135, so I don't think that puts her over it does. That puts her underneath that level.
We're out.
So
Gotta go. Kicker. You gotta convert,
yeah.
man, my friend. Well, recently we've been on something called Romanian girl grinding. So we had Jungle Man on a podcast, and during that, his girlfriend made a bunch of appearances. She's a tall Romanian girl. So I'm gonna update some people on this. So I mentioned during this, I said I'm gonna go. I want to meet a Romanian girl, right? I'm gonna go to Romanian girl grind. I'm gonna do that. So yesterday, Jungle Man messages me, and he's like, "Hey, my girlfriend, her friend wants to talk to you. She watched the podcast, and she's like, she's interested in you." I'm like, "Well, this works out perfectly." So I've been talking to this Romanian girl. I'm trying to do it for the live stream. I'm doing it for the podcast, really. And I think I'm gonna go to Romania, and that's exclusive for the people listening right now that watch the Jungle Man podcast. I might be going to Romania. I might have a Romanian wife, and
you're gonna take your talents to Romania. Is that what you're doing?
I might. I'm scared, but I might. Yeah. Would you ever do something like that? Would you ever move to another country for love? I mean, you're married, so we can't really have this GTO discussions on these type of topics. But
I tell you, man, I moved to Minnesota for love. I mean, because she's from Michigan, and so she's from the Midwest, and so I grew up in San Diego for 21 years, so it was really difficult for me to make. Most people start, Midwest and they move, left or right. I moved from California to the Midwest, and now I'm stuck. I got the dog, I got 2 kids, I got a job, and I'm not going anywhere, man. This is where it's at now.
So can you guess where I moved to when I was 23 and I started having success at poker?
Oh, wow. West Coast or East Coast?
You've lived there before.
San Diego.
That's exactly where I moved, to San Diego, of course, just like you said, and they go the other way. And that was you moved away when you were 21 or 22?
22 actually. Yeah.
Your wife must be ridiculously attractive, amazing person to be with, because if you left San Diego at 22 years old in the debatably prime of your life.
Yep. Cashed it in. Cashed it. I went all in for it. So yeah, she's got me. So yeah. Now we're out here, and now like I said, I'm stuck. When you get the dog in the house, you're stuck, dude. You're not going anywhere. Roots are in. So
Minnesota, huh? Minnesota.
Yeah. Where'd you live in San Diego?
I lived in Mission Valley. I lived off like Friars Road over there.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's towards the stadium then down there.
Yeah, we found it. How I moved out there. I bought a new car and I bought a convertible when I finally started doing well at poker, and I was living in the Midwest here. And there was a guy that I talked to from the poker forums, which goes into the whole entire thing of networking and meeting people. And we were chatting one day. I was like, dude, I got to get the fuck out of here. It's freezing. He's like, why don't you move to San Diego? I was like, sounds like a great idea. So he came up to my house to move. He was kind of countdown to Busto. He ends up final tabling a free roll tournament on PokerStars for $4,000. Gets him enough money to move out there. We drive out there 2 days later. We found a place online, move in, and then it was an interesting time after that.
So tell me about are most poker players, since this is your life, this is what you do, right? Do you guys just live like score to score, or do you have plan? I mean, because I've heard a lot of stories about people that really kind of go with the flow, and that's something that to me has always intrigued me about. I wouldn't say you don't have a plan, but I would say that when you have a big score and you do things, then you react to it and you do whatever it is your goals were, or you kind of go on a whim. Is that kind of how? Tell me how that. Flipping the script on you a little bit. I'm interviewing you, but it's interesting for me to know.
Well, that's a good question. I actually don't play tournaments. I've played maybe 2 or 3 tournaments in the past 3 or 4 years. I only play cash games online, and kind of how I think for the network of friends I have is. It's not. I mean, we usually play stakes that we have a lot of buy-ins for. So my regular stakes, I have 400 plus buy-ins for.
Sure. So
really, the motivation and kind of how your lifestyle changes because you're not living score to score. I mean, you just essentially have a bankroll and you figure out a way to be motivated to keep making it bigger. That's kind of what happens when you get to the level that I guess you can get to playing PLO, or I mean, even in No Limit, there's players like that as well. So it's not like I'm not, there's not like you're staked or you got backers. I mean, some people are, but me, I've never really been staked or been backed or anything like that. Because I said some people do for cash games, but I always thought it was kind of dumb to get back for cash games if you're winning at a pretty good win rate. So
Sure.
I know the people you're talking about, though. I think that those are more happen to be the live guys. You know, it's really weird when you play cash games. You need to have, you know, if you play 5-10 for a living, you need to have over 100K bankroll. So it's like you just kind of have this money sitting around, and then you got to be motivated to make more, and it's that's the challenging part.
Yeah, I saw, like, I was watching that thing, and maybe you saw it the other day, that you know, behind the scenes documentary or whatever on Mark Newhouse, and the stuff he's accomplished is crazy from a World Series of Poker standpoint. But going back to back, but to hear his story behind the scenes and kind of see how, hey, I had this score, and then I was pretty much busto, and then I had this score, and then I did this, and I moved this, and he doesn't, you know, he talks like he doesn't really have a plan. He just kind of lives life, and you know, crushes the main event like nobody's business, and then, you know, he kind of rolls on. So I didn't know if that was like how kind of a lot of poker players kind of roll, or but it was interesting.
Yeah, I think that's more tournament players. I mean, someone in the chat said tournament. That's how tournament players are. I think that's maybe live players in general.
Sure.
But I know to be successful at online cash games, you gotta be pretty hard working these days, especially the skill level of the games these days is pretty challenging. So you kind of have to have a plan. You kind of have to. You can't really just half-ass it because you won't be winning. So
Yeah.
It's kind of like I said. It's a different world in general, which is why. Yeah, that's why I don't mean, like I said, I don't play live. A lot of live players, they don't come online. They don't even know what's happening online because it's just like two different spectrums of the whole entire atmosphere in poker, which is you know, kind of interesting. Just someone said Mark Newhouse comes to mind about what you're talking about. I actually haven't watched that, but I believe it was on All In Magazine, correct?
Yes, that's where it was. Yep.
I really enjoy that site. If I don't like a site, like if I think a site's putting out no content like a card player, they don't do shit, they don't do anything unique, they're not doing anything special. All In Magazine doing a great job. They're doing unique videos, unique documentaries on people. They're putting out some really great articles. I got a lot of love for that site, man. That's one of my sites I'm paying attention to. Is there any?
Yeah, no, that's cool. I think you know, I even think you know, the stuff you're doing, and I think the stuff that they do, and just interesting stuff and stuff that's not, you know, because I mean, you have a lot of people that are interested about hand analysis, and I'm not saying it's not good to study that stuff, and you certainly can, but there's a difference between, do I want to spend my time having a little bit of entertainment and listening to what's going on in a different perspective, whether it's a journalism, or whether it's a video or a podcast, or a behind-the-scenes documentary. So I think you want to be entertained, right? So you want to have stuff going on that does capture your attention. So I mean, that was a cool piece, I thought. And it's just that I watch a lot of the what is the HBO show when they do behind the scenes of the NFL? Love that. I actually like that more than watching the game. Hard Knocks, yeah, awesome, man. I mean, you see the players that are, you know, if you can relate it to poker, think about it in terms of the rookies that are coming on, and they're playing their ass off, you know, and you get to see the little glimpses of them the whole way trying to make this 52-man roster. That's the stuff that captures people. That's the stuff people want to see, because they just get to see the product on Sunday, right? But they have no idea the perspective behind the scenes. And, you know, that's kind of something you're doing, the hard knocks of poker. You know, you're taking the behind the scenes stuff that people don't really have an appreciation for, and giving a little bit of visibility to that. So it's cool, man. It's really cool.
Well, I think you're going to enjoy content I have in the future. Obviously, right now, all my stuff is podcast form. It's me kind of talking to someone else, and they tend to be an hour or two, which is long and intimidating for a new viewer. But some of the ideas I have are very along those same lines for shorter video content with people actually in person, which does that exact thing. It takes you behind the scenes. It's going to show you how these people are actually living their life on a day-to-day basis, what they're like, their mindset, their approach. And I mean, it's one thing if I'm having a conversation with them. It's another thing when I'm actually in person going through the experiences that they have. I think it should be fun, like you said. It's
You should do a version of Cribs, man. Remember when back in the day when they had Cribs, and you go in and check them out and check out their environment and their cards and all that stuff? That'd be really cool.
It'll be more like a version of their crib life, their whole entire life, everything, like crib, their house, just partying, raging, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna come out of retirement for raging.
Man. I'll tune in for that, brother. I'll watch that.
Yeah, that's gonna take a lot of motivation to do that because a lot of
A lot of
motivation.
work.
But you mentioned something that I agree with completely, which was everything for a long time has been focused on hand analysis, strategy. Sit down, let me tell you how to play this hand, dude. Okay, like that's what a lot of stuff, a lot of podcasts, a lot of videos, they're all focused around strategy. And what I
Yeah.
wanted to do was bring back the entertainment to. I wanted to put something entertaining out, like I don't talk much strategy and what's it gonna?
Yeah.
What can I say? Are you gonna start day in life of blah blah blah? Card player did a series like that. Yeah, card player. I don't know, man. Card players fucking noobs. Let's be honest here. I hope they step. I hope someone from card players watching and gets like motivated to step up the content they're putting out. Maybe do something cool. But we fire shots around here, man. I mean, we're positive, but at the same time, we got to fire a couple of shots. We can't love everybody around here. So.
Hey, you can. Hey, I get it, man. You can't let everyone walk over. I got you, man. I got you.
A couple people said that'd be a good idea. I agree. Plus, it gives me a reason to travel, and it gives me personally a reason to leave my den, as someone called it, leave my 12-year-old, 17-year-old version of a room right here.
Yeah, no, I think, man, that would be kind of cool, man. Because I mean, technically, you can take your laptop anywhere, right? And you grind online and play cash. So the thing of it is, like, why couldn't you do that in other areas and then meet with some of the locals, you know what I mean, and meet with the people that are in the poker room every day and capture some of their stories and find out. I mean, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool idea.
Whoa, I think you mentioned live players. I actually don't know many live players, but I know a lot of live players watch this that would be interested in that. So that would actually work well because I have a lot of live people I interact with on Twitter and stuff like that. Those people are cool. I like a lot of people in poker right now. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's good to be positive, brother.
Sure. Someone asked a question. Adam said, "Have you ever considered someday doing events at a brick and mortar casino for a small group of fans? Maybe trying a Vegas trip or something." I think probably next year at WSOP I'll do something like that. I know. Have you guys thought about doing something like that? I think you guys might be almost getting to a level where you could think about doing something.
Yeah, I'm kind of working on something behind the scenes that is not necessarily specifically about our brand. But there's some other things that I'm working on that tie into events. But to answer your question, we do an end of the year party with all of our team, and trying to figure out a way that we can get all our team in either one area, and maybe that's not doable because I am starting to add on people from different states. But I do like getting people together and having a good time because it's just like people starting up in the garage and playing poker. So, but yeah, some really cool stuff from events come through.
That'd be cool. I think I saw somewhere. I saw it because and it caught my eye because it's something I'm probably going to end up doing in terms of PLO, which is you guys are doing some type of awards, something like that. You guys are doing a voting right now for awards.
Yeah, we do. Well, we got a player, and I think there's one local player that, and it might be. I think that's running it was Chris Fox Wallace. So he won the World Series of bracelet winner for the horse, 10,000 horse. So I think he kind of puts it together, and I think it's really neat, man, because it just doesn't focus on best player or most dominant player, but it has like cash player, it has nicest person award or best in the casino, all kinds of different criteria, and then he has people nominated. What's that?
Where can we find this at? If someone was interested in it was involved or in the community that wanted to vote.
Jeez, you're gonna make me go to Twitter right now.
You gotta know this, man. This is what your job is. You gotta know the information. We want to vote, damn it. People love voting, except for president. We want to vote.
www.mnpokerawards.com.
Dude, you know what? I love Minnesota, right? Because I was reading a thread about a Minnesota Poker Hall of Fame, and some people were like, why is Minnesota getting there? I was like, I posted in the thread, this is a fucking great idea. I swear sometimes, guys, if you're watching this first, you don't know, I'm sorry, I'm not like a, I wear a tank top. I'm not speaking 100% politically correct some things. I like to swear sometimes. But Minnesota, I love Minnesota. Like, if Minnesota was warm, I'd want to be a part of Minnesota because it seems like these guys are doing these cool things. They got their own Hall of Fame. That's awesome. Why not have your own why not have a Hall of Fame? I mean, why not? So who's stopping you? It's just great. Yeah. Some people were firing some shots like, oh, why are they having a Hall of Fame? But I think it's so cool. I think it's awesome, man. I like Minnesota.
I think we got a good poker community, man. I think there's a lot of, there was some tweets going on this year about how Minnesota was faring against the rest of the world comparatively during the World Series of Poker. There was, we do these Minnesota Poker Awards. We have a Hall of Fame, and I know Mike Schneider won that this year, and I know he was a big online grinder too. But man, we got a good community, man, and we got a lot of good players, and people are engaged and involved. And I think you have to be when 6 months out of the year you live in your house and you only travel to casinos and everything's indoors, right? So this isn't San Diego. This tank top, man, was in the bottom of my drawer because we're heading into winter. So we come up with all kinds of creative ways to stay involved with our community. So I think this is just kind of one of those things that kind of someone come up with to keep people included. So it's cool, man.
Do you guys have anything? You have anything in store you'd like to talk about? You want to keep it guarded? Is there anything potentially coming soon that people can look out for that are a part of it or fans of it or paying attention to it?
I think we got I mean for our brand, I know we've done a lot of simple things so far. It's just kind of been the logo, a couple of things on some shirts. So it's been a little vanilla just to get the logo out there, but brought a designer on from Quicksilver, and they're going to start putting some things together, and they do some really cool work. And obviously that's from my roots from San Diego, but again, not getting too crazy with the designs, but tying it in, and really want to do some designs that people enjoy wearing. So I think we'll continue to push that. As far as teams, we're looking to obviously expand our teams in other states. So you can let everyone know, or we're letting everyone know right now that that's kind of an initiative of ours in doing that. And yeah, man, we've got Poker Night in America is having that ladies game in Florida. I think this month. I think they're having that out in Hard Rock, and we've got two players of ours that will actually be in that game, Natasha and Jessica Dolly. So they'll be playing on TV. So it'll be fun to watch, man. They're great players.
That's cool. Yeah, it's really cool. I like Poker Night in America. I guess I had Todd on. I told you earlier, the one of the creators of that show, and it was interesting getting his perspective on things as far as behind the scenes and coming up with a television show and how the process comes from creating it to actually making it happen. And he kind of told me that he thought it would appeal to a certain subsection of people, not the 2+2 crowd, not the really poker informed, I guess might be the word to say it. And judging from what I've seen so far, he's very correct, because most people that I know that have watched it say that they don't like it that much. And have you heard from people that you've talked to? Do you know anyone that watches the show? Have you got any feedback on your end in like a live setting from people you talk to?
Yeah, I've watched it a couple times, and I've got some feedback from a lot of the players. Some of them say they like it. Again, I have a crew full of positive players, so you got to understand where that's coming from. It might be a little bit, a little bit of icing on that cake right there. But I like seeing, like I told you before, I like seeing the behind-the-scenes documentary stuff. I watched that a little bit on Dan Smith that you did, and I see what you're doing with me right here, and I think that you could take this to a whole next level, and it would be something that you'd have to put a lot of effort into and do. But I think it's cool, man. I think people like seeing that, hard knock behind the scenes. What are people trying to accomplish? Did you see that documentary on Bet Raise Full with Danielle DeMugro?
Yeah, I actually had one of the guys, Martin Bradstreet. He was on that as well. I've known him for a while. He was on a podcast, and we talked a bit about that too.
That's awesome, man. That to me, and I can't speak for anyone else, but she came out and they did it at Canterbury here in Minnesota and had it on the big screen, and she was out there for that. But it was really cool, man, seeing her like literally grind for her family. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was, I think it was cool, and she's super witty, and now she hit her dream, right? She's out in Vegas and crushing it out there and doing some really cool videos, and her and Dan are doing these 1-verse-1 things, which
I
is
like
funny.
those. Those are cool.
Oh, and it's classic. I mean, those things. I think is what captures people. And there's, if you've ever turned on, I think Commerce maybe has a table where you can just look at people playing. I know there's a couple of card rooms that have online playing. You can't really hear what they're saying or anything, and they're just playing the game. You don't get anything from that. You hear a couple little banter, you hear some funny joke here, you hear little things like that, but it's just literally just skimming the surface. I don't think people want to watch that. It's not inspiring. I don't think it dives into anything. So, I mean, I think people need to really dig deeper and really give you a behind-the-scenes look at what people like that go through and what they do, man. But, that's the cool stuff to me, again.
Mm-hmm. I was debating if I wanted to plug. You segued nicely for me to plug something not related to me, and I was debating if I wanted to do it. And I'm just going to do it, and now no one's going to know what exactly it was. And now I feel bad because I'm not even just bring up what you perfectly segued into that I could have for somebody that I know. But Cyan said, Cyan D says, there's a great BBC series called Traders, Millions by the Minute, which did what Joey was talking about, but with traders. Interesting seeing the Busto trader. Oh shit, I gotta watch this show. This sounds good. Somebody said a flex off. I think you definitely got me beat on a flex off.
Flex off?
You're up first.
I don't.
Yeah, you got more. Yeah, you got more mass than me for sure.
More mass, yeah. It's not very defined.
Let's put it on. I see on mine. I'm looking a little small. Looking a little small now.
Yeah, but you're a little more cut. Like I said, man, we got to put on mass here. This isn't trimming right now. We're going into winter, man. I need to bulk up.
Yeah, playing basketball 3-4 hours a day definitely helps you not put on mass. So
yeah, I need to do more cardio, man. Cardio.
Nah, cardio's a bit overrated for sure. Somebody said you could be Laforte's cousin. Sean Lafort. He used to coach on Run once. He's a high 6 PLO player, but I call him the fittest man in poker. He does some video blogs just to help people get in better shape and stuff like that. And you guys could be cousins.
We could be cousins? Yeah, maybe we are, man.
Actually, you know what? I got to show you. This is kind of weird. I have to show you a photo of him on a podcast because this is weird. You'll see. Like, tell me who this guy looks like as I'm going to show you this photo right here. Hold on.
All right, hit me with it.
Okay. This is kind of so look at this. Look at you, and then look at this photo right here.
Oh, we're gonna have split screen right here. Oh wow, yeah.
Literally, almost. I'm gonna tag it back and forth with people. So, go in the position he's in with the one arm forward.
Oh jeez. Okay, hang on. Let's see. He's
the left arm forward.
He's got this here and a left arm forward. And his head tilted back.
You kind of look like, it's crazy. If you wear a blue hat, you guys, wow, it's weird. You guys kind of do. Maybe you are. Are you his cousin?
I don't know. You'd have to tell me. I don't know. Maybe get us on a spring podcast and we'll find out.
You guys could talk about working out GTO for hours probably with each other. You mentioned you have children. Are they old? Are they young? How old are they?
I got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. So actually 7-year-old. She's turning 8 in December. So 2 kids, boy and girl.
Ooh. And you mentioned you have actually they have a life person job.
Yeah, I have I say that sometimes, and I feel bad every time I say it. I go, hey, I have my real job. So what I do, and I feel like an ass every time I say it. But corporate environment, yeah, I'm in marketing, brand merchandise and marketing, so that's kind of where I got, the drive to put together a logo and kind of do some of this stuff. So yeah, it's fun, man. I enjoy it. It's a fun hobby for me. I'm not doing it to get rich. I get more I have more fun with seeing people wearing the gear and having a good time than selling thousands of shirts. It's not my goal. So yeah.
Pretty cool job in Minnesota. Do you work with anything specific, or do you work with what are you guys, I guess, focusing on your particular company you're with?
Our company does branded merchandise and advertising. So anything with events and trade shows, employee recognition programs, customer events. We have some big customers, Best Buy, DirecTV, those types of organizations. We do a lot of their branded merchandise. So they're, yeah, it's fun, man. It's a fun job. I've been there for This will be my 12th year, and love going to work. And like I said, I'm able to, when I come home, do a little bit of this on the side and have a good time creating my own brand for poker. So it's yeah, man, it's fun.
Sounds like a pretty kind of like an entertaining job. You know, some jobs aren't entertaining or exciting, but that, I mean, something like that would personally excite me because it's kind of challenging. It's something new. It's something different. It doesn't seem like it's repetitive. It seems like you have a different challenge, or you could always come up with a new idea to present to the table for a particular company all the time.
Yeah, and it's cool, man, because we're a solutions-based company. So hey, here's what you got to buy in. Here's what you got to do to achieve a certain goal. We're really sitting down with these companies and trying to understand what are their goals and objectives and what challenges they have, and going from there. So it's a new every day. It never gets monotonous for me, and yeah, I enjoy going to work every day, man. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. Do you have a Jungle Man impression for us?
Jungle Man?
Right. We people around here, they love Jungle Man impressions. Do you have an impression of Jungle Man?
I don't even know who that is.
The Jungle Man?
No.
I've never.
You might have to put.
That's okay.
You might have to end podcast now with that comment. I don't even know who that is.
It's okay. Jungle Man. Jungle Man's Jungle Man. He's debatably one of the best poker players online in the world, I guess.
There we go. See, that's probably why I wouldn't know. I don't play poker online, and now you just classified me as a fun player. There we go, everybody. Fun player right here.
We said you debatably made a fun player statement. We did no such claim that you're an actual fun player. We got to see a receipt of you in action before we can make a claim like that.
Got it. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll focus on that. I'll do the whole receipt thing. I'll tweet it all the way through, and then I'll forward it to you, and we can make a determination at the end of that. So.
Nah, I don't think so. I'm not gonna believe. I'm gonna refuse whether. I'm going to refuse to believe that you're a fun player. Don't worry. I'm not even thinking so.
Cool.
I can't do it. So if anybody has any questions in the chat, feel free to ask right now. And if not, this guy who works in the poker community and doesn't know who Jungle Man is.
Yep. Right here.
That's what somebody said.
Right here. Yep. You know, there's a guy that there's a couple guys at the casino because I hardly ever play, so they call me like this poker unicorn. So I never get out there and actually play. But he goes, man, you have a poker line and you never play poker. And he's right. Jungle Man comment. Don't play poker a lot. You know, I when I get there, I try, like I said, to grind out and do my best. Online community for me is not so foreign. So you could, Danielle, thank God I knew Danielle, the Moon Girl, so she's about the only one. That's my extent of knowledge there, so you can kind of see where I'm in the online community, poker community there. So.
Wow. Well, now you get to learn who the Jungle Man is. Just look up Jungle Man. He's got a lot of clips on YouTube. He debatably makes some interesting reactions, so.
Okay. I'll check him out. So with all your followers right there that chime in and said, this dude has a poker brand and doesn't know who Jungle Man is. Tell him my apologies. I'll dive into it. I'll learn.
Nah, you don't gotta learn. It don't matter. That's the thing. It don't matter. You don't gotta learn. It doesn't really matter. So.
It's all good.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you. If you ever interested in talking any potential ideas, feel free to always be in touch with me as I'm doing a similar type of project.
For sure.
I was gonna do a freestyle rap battle with you. You don't seem like a freestyle rapper though.
I'm not good at rapping at all. I'm terrible.
Are you a dancer?
No, I'm also terrible at that. There's actually I don't think you and I could verse on anything. Twitter, if you want to take the battle of Twitter, then I think I could take you there. That's kind of my domain.
What's that mean?
I don't know. Like if you want to do like an emoji off or something like that, or you want to do a tweet off, I'm good there. Dancing rap battles is not my forte.
We do a lot of, well, our regular tradition on the podcast here is to ask someone for a Jungle Man impression, a dance off, and a rap battle. I'm
gonna fail all three.
That's okay.
Let's create something new. What else is new that you could do? You're about innovation. Let's fire. What's different? First time ever. What can we do?
I can't even tell you what just came to my mind first because it's something I can't even say. There's people watching that literally are not going to get the concept, but it's something we call a dick off.
That'll right there. I could either, my followers could go through the roof, or seriously we can go down in flames real quick.
Yeah, it's this weird thing me and Star Dreg Problems, the scammer, made up where it's called a dick off, where you check out your dicks on the live stream and show who's got the biggest and baddest dick. And now I can't say this actually ever happened, but it was an idea, and that was the first thing that came to my mind when you just said, something new.
Something new. That could be it. That's your, yeah. That'd be interesting. You go first.
I mean, we can save that for another time, I think.
All right.
Someone did say a dick off in the chat. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because somebody said push-ups. I don't really want to do push-ups right now. I've done enough push-ups. I do push-ups every morning, and I enjoy them. They make my chest a little bit filled out, if that makes sense.
Protruding pectorals?
Kind of, but like, I don't know. I took during a period of my life, I wasn't working out much. I was eating bad and raging. My pectoral definition kind of went from muscle to man boob in a way, and now I'm in that time. Now I'm in that time where it's getting it back to actual muscle and doesn't look like a woman's breast.
That's the bad part about working out and letting it go. Because if you build it up and then you just let it go, it turns into just moob, and then you're in trouble. You know what I mean?
And if you ever stop working out, you might have nice boobies over there.
I think I could do. I probably would fit in that category. I'm not going to stop though. I can't do it. Can't shut her down.
That's a great thing. That's when I ask old people at the gym, because I go to a gym with mainly older people, and I say, how the fuck are you guys still alive, right? There's like 85-year-old dudes just like in shape. I'm like, I talk to them every morning. I go all the time. I'm like, how do you guys do it? And they're like, never stop. Just keep going. Keep at it. Don't give up on it.
Do you usually talk to those dudes in the locker room when they got the Captain Morgan stance and the towel over their shoulder too? They just know, for some reason, old people got no shame. They're there. Hey, I'm 86 years old and this is me. Like, deal with it.
I know they do that a lot. They just sit there with their they're like sitting on this chair, like a bench, and just dicks out right like this, and they're just like wiping themselves. I'm like, man, I'm not that point in my life yet. I mean, I'd like to be at that point in my life where I feel comfortable just like with my letting it out, like sit there, but yeah, there's those guys. I don't talk to them. I usually talk when I'm working out, or when there's a lot of guys that walk around the track and run and play volleyball, and they watch me play basketball, and I talk to them sometimes, and I kind of get some input. And sometimes I talk to the women to practice my old woman grinding. Old OWG is what we call it. Old girl grinding. It's OGG. I've actually been talking to some 65-year-olds and a couple 45-year-olds trying to get an older woman perspective on life. And yeah, it's interesting talking to those old women.
That's nice, dude. Yeah, you always have to keep the eyes pretty high, because if you go down low, man, they're there. They have no shame. They'll just cruise around, and it's right there for the viewing.
I was gonna say something I've started doing in the men's locker room, but I'm not gonna say that. It might make me sound weird.
We almost wanted to have a dick off, dude. So I think that you could probably say it.
No, it came to my mind to have a dick off. Whether I actually show my dick on the live stream, if I'm gonna show my dick on a live stream, I better be struggling, because I better be like countdown to Busto, and someone's gonna pay me money to do that, because.
Good point. I totally agree, man.
Although, I mean, it could be good for business potentially with women. I mean, the 1 to 3% of women, people actually have watching these. Which, yeah, it's I'm gonna think. Maybe you think about that as a potential marketing idea for you or for one of the companies you work for in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, I'll run the corporate world. I know how that would fare. Twitter. I mean, maybe in my that would. Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
I think I'd rather put a sex tape out, to be honest.
Oh man, sex tape in the poker world. Could you imagine what Twitter would do with that? Holy jeez. Yeah, be good. 2 + 2 phones would be on fire.
I better make sure, 1, she's attractive, and 2, I fucking go to give my A effort, man. I put it in like it's the last time I'll ever be with a woman in my life, because.
There you go.
Well, you've given me some things to think about if I ever go broke, so I very much appreciate the ideas.
There you go. Well, hey, man, I appreciate the the time. Cool chatting with you, man. And if we got any ideas to help you out along the way, and vice versa, man. But appreciate the time for sure.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming out. Guys in the chat, thank you for the questions. We've had some questions, had some comments. Someone suggested we take our shirts off, which, no, don't want to do that. Marco, he's late. Hi, Marco. May have to go back and watch it now. But, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you want to follow Marc on Twitter, at @the_poker_joker.
Yes, sir.
Or at Poker Joker Gear, all one word. PokerJokerGear.com is the website. You can check it out. They've got some clothing. They've got the leaderboard. They probably should explain how the team works and how you can get on the team in the information for Meet the Team.
I got you. I'll work on that, brother.
Well, that was something I was wondering. I was like, what's the team about? I mean, obviously I was going to have a conversation with you so I could ask you, but for some people they're probably like, they might look it up and they're like, well, I don't know what exactly it is. It's just...
How do I get on? I got you. That's cool point.
All right. Ben says, interesting guy. I agree. Ben thinks you're a good guy.
Cool. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it, brother.
Like Ben. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Marc, talk to you later, man.
Thanks, man. You too, brother.
All right. Peace.